This is the Cash Considerations podcast with three guys from Pittsburgh, Philly, and Boston talking sports. God help us all. This is the show. Take it away, Dave.
Welcome to the Cash Considerations podcast. Today is, what day is it? It's Monday. It's Monday, February 21st, President's Day. We got day game hockey. We got all kinds of stuff going on. We're post Super Bowl. We took the whole week off to just kind of relax, reset, get everything going. Plus, the kids got, high school basketball games he's going and doing. The other guy's trying to figure out where he's going on vacation next. I'm just doing more goddamn shows. I can't help myself. And we're back, boys. We're back, bitches. Like, that's what we said when the Patriots came back. Cash Consideration Show is back. My name is Dave Sharapan. I am at SportsBK Consig on the Twitter. The Cash Consid Show is just that on the Twitter, Cash Consid Show. You can find that as well. And with me, as always, the boys are here. We have no guests. We're going to start instituting some guests back in and forth, but we changed it up because it's Monday. We had to get a show out for the people. So, as always, first, he's known as Carl Hascall. But he threw me a curveball right before we started the show. He changed the Twitter handle to What's Up, CH, because every time I introduce him, Carl Hascall, I say, What's up, CH? So, up in Boston, what's up, CH? How you doing?
What's up? How are you? How you doing? You know what? It's 57 degrees here today. What? 57. Oh. I could get used to this. It's going to be like in the 20s tomorrow, but and everybody will be sick.
It's coming. You better go out and hit a bucket of balls today because you ain't going to touch your golf clubs for another month because of what's coming. This winter vortex is coming out here in Vegas behind us. Beautiful day today. The low temperature for the next 4 days is 28, 30, 29, and 30. So we're going to see some cold weather, which is going to be in your neck of the woods in a few days. Different neck of the woods, but looking so fresh today because he's going to be on assignment. The tie is on. The hair is down. He's Dan Alexander. He's at Newbie Talks on the Twitter. He ain't changing his thing. So you can find him there. You'll find him today later on WEEU broadcasting the game, but he's with us right here. The executive producer of the show, as well as obviously the co-host of the show. Newbie, post Super Bowl. You're deep in basketball mode. What is that girl's name that you said? What is the 6 foot? What is her name?
Oh yeah, it's playoff basketball time. And I was kind of joking with you guys, tongue in cheek, that this, after a year of doing basketball, it gets to the point where I almost am like, hey, if you guys end up dropping a game or two, it's not the worst thing in the world. But I'm just kidding. We always want the local teams rolling on. Isis Dojan, amazing basketball name,
Isis
right?
Dojan. She's
like 6'4", absolute beast on the board. So we got to cover her in the county finals. So happy to be back with you boys. And, I'm dressed for the occasion. When the Cash Consid Show comes back, I actually lied. I don't even have a game. I just wanted to put on a tie because the boys are back. Let's go. Happy to be back with you guys.
All right. So that's it. We got the fellas here. You can email the show. CH is still the email guy. He's the coordinating producer, social media manager, and email guy. It's cashconsidshow@gmail.com. Email us any thoughts, ideas, whatever. Go watch the show and, hit the subscribe button on the YouTube channel, Cash Considerations Podcast on the YouTube. And then obviously wherever you get podcasts, just subscribe right there. You get the new episode every time we drop it. Even when we change it up on you can find us if you're already subscribed. It'll pop right into your feed. You can listen to the show and then go back and watch it to see, one, just how good this kid Newbie looks with this tie on. CH and I are in a casual quarter zips right now, but we're doing our thing. And pretty much just the format of the show is going to be simple. I mean, there's no football. There was no football on Sunday for the first time in months. A lot of people didn't know what to do with themselves. What did we do? We formulated a kind of a, rundown to talk about the show on today. So we're going to swing it around, hit a couple sports, talk about this. First thing out of the gate, Major League Baseball. There's no news. There's no baseball. There's no nothing. I got to watch a lot of softball yesterday. There was a great tournament down in Florida. There's going to be another great tournament out west that I'm thinking about getting in the car, bringing the Consig kids out to go watch. It's called the Mary Nutter Classic. A lot of Division I schools will play to get our kind of baseball, softball fix, because we had intentions of maybe going to see some spring training games down in Arizona. Well, they just postponed more spring training games. So that's been pushed back. CH, you're getting ready for the second wave of winter, but you got a little taste of nice weather and stuff down in Charleston. Do you believe this baseball stuff? Like, really, what's going on right now?
Actually, I'm not even surprised. You know, if any league is going to have something happen like this, it's going to be MLB. The other leagues are too smart to let it get to this. But it seems like every time the CBA is up, something happens, right? There's a lockout or there's a strike or something. I think they were meeting at 1:00 today, if I remember right. And I haven't heard anything. So that might be a good sign. It's been 2 hours. Oh, so that could be a good sign. I think they were meeting at 1:00 today. Okay. So it could be, you know what? It could have been 1:00 Pacific and they haven't even started yet. Who knows?
Well, and that's where we're at pretty much with the whole thing. I mean, you know, and Newbie's busy doing high school basketball games. He's busy doing lacrosse, the Bet on Lacrosse show and things like that, games that are actually going on. Newbie, as a casual fan, a Phillies fan and stuff, do you give a shit that the baseball's not talking or anything right now?
No, see, I mean, as far as like, oh my goodness, I need my baseball fix. Like, no, but I know that people look forward to this all year long. So like for true baseball fans who that's their sport, that's who I feel for the most, because that's who's getting screwed, you know, and I feel bad for the players, yes, but they still have a nice chunk of change. Don't feel bad for the owners at all because, you know, let's be real, they can go to sleep on their giant beds of money and not lose any winks of sleep about it. I just think it's a bad look for a sport who is already kind of struggling to find who their client base is, who they're trying to market to. So I think it's just another black mark on baseball that they're struggling to really bring in a new generation of fans. And now you're not even playing. You're not even being amicable in discussions.
Yep.
It's just a bad look all around. And it's a shame because, you know, there's no better feeling than opening day, even when you're not a baseball fan, because if you're like a peripheral fan of it, your team has a chance. Everybody's going to be in the pennant race with first opening day. So, you know, in the doldrums of winter, when you're looking for something to look forward to in the spring, that's what spring training is all about. And we don't even get that now. So, you know, I got my fingers crossed, but from everything that I'm seeing and reading, Dave, it's not looking good. Not even just for the delay of the season. Like the owners are digging in that I think they would be fine not doing an entire season. Now, I don't think that'll happen, but it wouldn't. I don't think the owners are in any position to accelerate talks because what do they care? You know?
Yep. That's the weird part about all this is that it almost feels like they are kind of dragging it down, and it's frustrating where, you know, as a fan, you just want to see the games. You want, you know, and as someone who's in the gambling space, gambling content, as well as in the book, that's a lot of money for the books to replace and handle. What are you going to do? We got USFL that's coming in the spring. If the USFL kicks off and there's no baseball and they have an opportunity to capture a market with actual football, you can guarantee we're going to have to start looking at the lines, where you can guarantee we're going to start. I got to get the lids. I'm going to have to get hats, some more hats. The wife's actually going to throw me out if I tell her there's a new league and I need some hats. There's a team in Pittsburgh called the Maulers, who I was at the original games back in the day. I went as a little kid and froze my ass off in March in Pittsburgh at a game where they were throwing snowballs. They brought Cliff Stout in to be the quarterback. It was a total disaster. Mike Rozier won the Heisman at Nebraska. He was the running back for the Pittsburgh Maulers back in the day.
Right.
So baseball has a really interesting decision to make. Do we start the season on time or not? And I think we'll see how it plays out. If I was betting right now, I would say yes, they start the season on time with an abbreviated spring training. And now the players are going to have to acquiesce to that. If they don't, then we're delayed. It's not going to start until May 1st. So that might be the players' way of getting back at the owners for making them wait all this time.
Yeah, just kind of say, forget about it.
Right. I don't know. I just don't know.
I don't think the players need 6 weeks. The pitchers probably do, but the position players don't want to be there for 6 weeks. After about 2 or 3 weeks, they're done.
Yeah, that's true. But you get a lot of golf in, you get a lot of hanging out time when you're the position players.
That's true.
It's a good way to kind of ease into the grind of the season. And, there's more days off now than there ever have been, but it's still, baseball season is such a long grind that the spring training deal in both Florida and Arizona, I've been to both. It's a fabulous trip if you get a chance to go and see your team play a couple spring training games and balance a beach trip in between, or, some golf. It's a lot of fun. Speaking of fun, we didn't really have a recap show. This is the first time we've seen each other since the Super Bowl, right? This is so, we have to talk about the NFL. First and foremost, newbie, I'll go back to you first. The Super Bowl, how did all the bets work out? Because we left you with a grocery list of bets, and I just wanted to throw it back to you and start off the discussion that way, because Rams money line got there, under got there, prop bets. A lot of guys that I remember hearing maybe didn't get there. How did things work out for you on the bet front? And you got to tell the people how it worked out on the food front, because we know you're newbie, the foodie. I know that ticket cashed.
Yeah. That was the absolute lock. You had to lay a shit ton of money, but in the Super Bowl, everybody will lay the juice to get those props home. So the all-time food props cashed. I made like 60 wings, something like that. They were gone in less than an hour. An hour. And there was like a dozen to like 15 people there. So flew off the shelf. But as far as the bets, man, thank God for plus money payouts. And thank God, what do I say all year long? How do I bet the NFL? I bet the NFL playing teasers, right?
Bam.
Both the teasers got home because I got that under when it was the lowest point it could. I got that mother by a half.
You win by a hook. You win by a hook.
And I'm never winning by the hook. You know what I mean? Like they call me newbie hooks instead of newbie talks. I'm always losing by the motherfucker. So it was nice to finally get one home. Both the teasers cash. I end up out of the 22 props, I think 10 of them hit. So a little under 500, but some of them were plus money. So I ended up, a couple, probably like $20, something like that. So
perfect.
At least I didn't lose money on it. And I was talking to you about this with B Howe on 8 in the Box. It was just a fun football game, man. And in recent memory, since, and I hate to say it, CH, the Eagles Super Bowl, I haven't really enjoyed any of these because they just kind of been like boring. You know what I mean? Like Tampa Bay absolutely rolled up on the Chiefs, the Rams and New England won. There was no scoring. So it was just great to have a fun football game through and through. And, when you end up a couple dollars, that's good too. So a shame that NFL's gone, but as Dave was mentioning, with USFL right around the corner, with it potentially having a bigger corner of the market, I know there's one guy who's excited, and that's Cousin Cooter, because he may be making a return come USFL.
The
most rootin' tootin' USFL football segment this side of the Mississippi, maybe the only segment this side of the Mississippi.
That's fine. We're definitely going to have it. We're going to have to. We're going to talk about it. But there's teams down south too that might be, interesting. We can pick up some new listeners again. Thank you to those of you who are listening to the show. CH, how was your Super Bowl? What did you take away from it? Did you end up with enough positive bets to offset the negative bets? Tell the people, but how it came out for you in all of this.
Yeah. So I didn't bet quite as heavily as our sidekick over here did.
No, this kid's fire.
I think it's 1-800-problem gambler is the number I think you need to call.
When the fun stops, that's where the pamphlets are and everywhere you can find them. When the fun
that's exactly that, Dave. That's where the fun stopped for me, was the opening kickoff. Because when they ran that, what happened? They kicked it through the end zone.
How did that guy not catch it? It was right there.
It was right there. You know why? Because he probably had some money on the opening kickoff touchback. So I bet that was my biggest bet of the day, because it's a no-brainer, right? That was my biggest bet of the day. So I bet very heavy on that, and it wound up that I finished down for the day the amount that I bet on that kick and one other bet, and that other bet was the missed extra point I bet yes for a missed extra point.
Oh,
When they fumbled the snap,
yes.
the NFL ruled that it was a 2-point conversion attempt because they
Correct.
threw the ball or whatever.
Yes.
What the fuck is that? Honestly, what the fuck is that? They fumbles the snap on an extra point attempt.
Yes.
It's a missed extra point. I don't care what happens. It's
Yeah.
a missed extra point.
Yeah, that apparently was a controversial topic. I was in the book at the Westgate, and my phone was blowing up. They're like, "Hey, is that a missed extra point? Is that a 2-point conversion attempt?" And I said, "Okay, well, first thing you have to do is go to the box score. The box score immediately says missed 2-point conversion attempt. So that's the first thing we would use in the book to grade it. Then the second thing, the explanation can be, he never kicked the ball, so it's not a missed extra point. Okay." Now, technically, you could rule it that way. And there were some books that probably should have paid both out and might have in today's world. Perfectly acceptable to do because I think there's not enough money per se on it. It's not worth the marketing costs or the bad ill will to pay everybody. Did you get paid?
So I didn't get paid. I emailed them because, I only have one book here and I try not to besmirch them, but I'm going to besmirch them here.
Yes.
Because they fucked me. DraftKings is the only book I could use.
Yes.
And they put out that night, about an hour or so after the game, they put out a tweet with a prop bet scorecard that had maybe, 35 or so prop bets with the check marks for yeses or nos or whatever.
Good idea.
And
wow.
It was a great idea, except they had missed extra point as a yes. When it was, yeah. And I even
wait a second. Wait. Put out the guide so people could check their own prop bets.
Yep.
But they put the check mark in the wrong place.
They did. And they still didn't pay out.
Boy, oh boy, that must have been either a tired dude doing that or somebody
an intern.
It
was late night on a Sunday night. It was an intern. It was definitely an intern.
It was the same intern that was putting up those lacrosse lines that left up the opening line into the third quarter. He's no longer with DraftKings for what it's worth.
It's very possible he may be gone. You may not have to worry about hearing from him no more. Wow.
But one more thing on the game too was we looked friggin' brilliant because we couldn't decide if we wanted to take the points or we wanted to give the points, what we wanted to do. When we finally decided, we had to go with the Rams money line, right?
Yeah.
We're fucking geniuses. It only took us 23 weeks, but we looked like fucking geniuses in that game.
We got this shit all tight by the end, and now we got 6 months to not talk about football. Although we're going to
USFL.
We're going to
absolutely.
We got the process down now, and we got everything in line. I can't wait to get to this USFL and these soft ass numbers that they're going to post up on these things.
And unders early, right? You know what I mean? It's just blind. It's what we did with the XFL. It's what you did with the AFL. Any of these, I mean, you just hammer the unders early. It's what you got to do. I don't need to see any of the numbers. I don't need to see any of the matchups. I know I'm losing money on the unders early, Dave. And DraftKings should love that because, you don't win at DraftKings.
I'm going to need you to get to the Philadelphia Stars practices and peek and see what's going on.
Easily.
CH might have to sneak into the Breakers if he can and see if we can get some intel on maybe some props numbers
on it.
That we'll be able to pick off.
I'll just tell them I'm a kicker.
Can you?
They're not going to. No, but I'm about the same age as a kicker, right? In the USFL. And they're not gonna know anybody by face.
Definitely
Unders and fade Jeff Fisher. Those are the two things I'm going into the USFL knowing, Dave.
That's perfect. Absolutely perfect. All right. Before we move on from the NFL discussion, CH had a good little part of the rundown in there with I don't believe there was any there was no regards or best or anything like that sign off. It was really quick in the thing. But is there talk of and I don't know because I've been so immersed in the basketball and what's going on in both the NBA, and I'm really trying to educate myself deeply into college basketball. So one, I could talk about it, but two, so maybe we can kind of pick off some numbers and find some different things. Is Carson Wentz not going to be part of the Indianapolis Colts, newbie? Or what is the story? Are we talk? First of all, somebody asked me in the Super Bowl if I want him in Pittsburgh. I'm like, no, I'm good, bro.
the crazy thing was his rookie year. I was talking to my uncle, who's a season ticket holder for the Steelers, and we both kind of said, man, this guy's got some Big Ben to him, right? Well, the only thing he has Big Ben in him is that he's always walking around in a walking boot, except Big Ben can play through it. Wentz can't. I mean, this guy's career has devolved into just one big, yeah. I mean, how do you get fired on your day off? Like, right? It's like that quote from Friday is it's in the off season. And I guarantee you, I saw a quote coming out of the Colts locker room, or I guess the Colts organization, after that loss to Jacksonville. There was about a 3.5 hour meeting between Irsay and I forget what their general manager's name is, and their head coach too, Frank Reich. And I think what that meeting was about was Irsay basically saying, this is the guy you told me to go out and get. This dude who couldn't even end up beating Jacksonville. So I think there was a conversation there that had something to the effect of, it's either going to be you guys or it's going to be this quarterback. So you guys better figure this shit out, because Wentz is not going to be back in Indianapolis. I mean, everything that I'm reading, everything that I'm seeing, they didn't like his role, and I'll put in air quotes, as a leader. There wasn't one. It just seems that this guy has unfortunately bought into everything that everybody said against him. You're never going to be the same after the injury. You play hero ball too much, and it just seems like he's not a good teammate, which is a shame, because without him, the Eagles don't have any Super Bowls. So one of the most interesting ways that we've seen a career devolve, I think, across all sports. Like, I mean, you guys have a little bit more background than me. So I'm wondering, like, off the top of your head, is there anybody whose ceiling was this high, who actually had some success in the league, wasn't a bust right out of the gate, who's now become a once and done quarterback that you traded away a first pick for? This is one of the most interesting sports stories that I think I've ever really seen, is just the devolvement of his career.
Man, I'll go to you, CH. I don't know if there's anyone that I can think of off the top of my head. I mean, we could go back and look, but there's been quarterbacks that have had, I don't think they've come in with as high expectations and then had success. It's either boom or bust.
Yeah.
You know,
second overall pick, good success, and then just has fallen after that injury.
Yeah.
Did I might be remembering this wrong, but didn't Marinovich start off pretty well and then tailed off? He didn't get a full season or anything like that, but didn't he start like the first half of the year? He was really good or something, and then tailed off.
Success as a team, yes. But you know, they were looking to take him down at any moment.
Yeah,
because that whole way of being raised and stuff. I mean, like, you knew that was going to go bad. I remember reading about him being back east and going, man, his dad sounds like such a drag off. Like, he's not even letting him have, you know, candy or not, like, be a kid. And then when he went bad, he went bad completely the other way. His success story now is amazing, you know, painting and doing all this stuff. I can't believe, I mean, I guess I can, you know, he could not end up in Indianapolis. It's very possible, but like, Pittsburgh is one of the places where everybody's talking about. It's nighttime in Pittsburgh behind me. Ben Scott Stevens dubbed it that, and I love it. It's always nighttime in Pittsburgh behind me because I don't change the background. But everybody's wondering who's going to be the quarterback of the Steelers. Like, could the Steelers go, and I'll ask you first, CH, could the Steelers go and sign Jimmy G? Could they sign Russell Wilson?
I think it's going to be
one of those guys, like a big name, because the defense is ready. TJ Watt and that defense is ready. It's a championship caliber defense. The running back, we got our horse. Najee Harris is there. They have the pieces in the wide receivers. Now, whether they bring back Juju and all this other stuff, they're going to figure all that out. But would the Steelers go completely off the script and go get a free agent quarterback and bring him in?
Well, there's nobody to draft, right? I mean, there's
everybody. They keep talking about this Malik guy, Kenny Pickett's a Pitt guy, a Jersey kid, big, strong, looks just like Big Ben in a uniform. We could put, you know, that number 9 on him. We got a quarterback, you know. I don't know though.
I don't. If they're going to draft a quarterback, he's not going to be opening day ready.
Hell no.
And he's not going to be I don't think he's going to be a quarterback in year one. He's going to have to mature and grow through the system for a year, right? So who do they want for a year? Jimmy G is going to play longer than a year, right?
Right.
Nobody's going to go for a 1-year contract anyway, but who can you get kind of short, who's not going to be looking for a 5-year deal like Jimmy probably will be, or, Kyler Murray might be, or something like that? I think it's Russell Wilson. I do.
Wow.
I think he needs a change.
Yeah.
Seattle needs a change.
Yeah.
Tomlin, African-American coach.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that there could be something there. And I think it makes him a top, 4 team in the AFC.
Oh,
He's
jumping him right in there, newbie. Listen to that. He's putting him right in there.
Dude, look at what Russell Wilson did with no offensive line, with a receiver who can run straight in DK Metcalf, and a guy in Lockett who knows what Lockett will be without Russell Wilson slinging him that ball. You know what I mean? Like, he's an okay wide receiver, a good to above average wide receiver, but how much of that was Russell Wilson? I think wherever Russell Wilson goes, I think he's probably gonna end up in New Orleans, to be honest with you, because here's why I think Wentz is going to be a Pittsburgh Steeler next year, is where the Pittsburgh Steelers are situated currently. Just like you said, they have the defense in place, they have the running back in place, they have the head coach. I think Tomlin's a great head coach, but you would have to give up something that makes that core what it is to bring in a Russell Wilson. Who can you get for pennies on the dollar? It's Carson Wentz. You can pick him up off the trash heap, and you're not having to expend much, because the Colts are in a lose-lose situation with him. They have to pay him out. They have to find somebody, if they don't pay him out, to pick up all that dead cap. And I don't think anybody's going to do that. So if Indianapolis wants to move him, it's going to be a team that doesn't want to part with a lot of pieces. I think the Steelers fit that mold, because you wouldn't have to part with a lot of pieces to bring in Carson Wentz. And maybe you draft one of those quarterbacks, and when Wentz goes sour, which he will, you naturally have a person that the fans are automatically going to embrace. I think Wentz, in my opinion, the odds-on favorite is him to Pittsburgh. And I know that I might be in the minority of thinking that. I feel like it fits what they need right now. And to be fair, nobody needs Wentz right now. He is gone. He has gone in a bad way, Dave.
Shit. I don't know if I can't believe it. Like, you're making a very good case for it. It's very interesting. I don't know if Carson Wentz is better than Mason Rudolph. Like, bringing Carson Wentz in right now and saying, we'll teach you the system, and, you're going to be better than Mason. Maybe you can come in and compete for the job, but if he comes in and competes for the job and loses the job to Mason Rudolph, he's going to be pissed off and a bad teammate and be that guy, right?
I think the days of him being the guy are gone. You know what I mean? The only play, you can't lose to Jacksonville. You can't be situated the way that the Colts were situated and not make the playoffs. Right. Like he has now just put himself behind the 8 ball. And it's a fascinating development in his career, one that I thought we would never see. I really thought that things were going to be turned around in Indianapolis. If anything, it's a bigger black eye that he wasn't able to not only turn things around, but even be a top half. He's a bottom half of the league quarterback, and towards the bottom of that bottom half. It's a real shame what happened to him, man.
I'll ask you each a yes/no question, and then we'll get it moving on. CH, you're first. What's up?
Yes.
No. Aaron Rodgers back in Green Bay. Yes or no?
Yes.
Newbie? Aaron Rodgers back in Green Bay? Yes.
I think so.
I also agree at this point. I think that is the favorite. I was out in Super Bowl week and media week in LA, and AJ Hawk of the Pat McAfee show. I said, AJ, don't bullshit me. Is Rodgers coming back to Green Bay? And he's like, yeah, why would I bullshit you? That's what I'm saying that on the show. That's what he's telling me. That's what I'm thinking. So pretty good source. I think that Rodgers is coming back. If Rodgers would not come back and go to either Denver or Tennessee, does that make either one the favorite to win the AFC? CH or first?
Not Denver. not Denver, but Tennessee. And Jesus, they were the number 1 seed this year without Aaron Rodgers, right? And I'm saying a lot of this. I have no idea what contract situations are. I have no idea what salary cap situations are.
Right.
But I think, Tennessee's.
CH, don't worry.
That's
about
true.
It. Nobody knows
That's
shit.
true. It's just a little disclaimer. But yeah, I think Jesus, Aaron Rodgers in Tennessee is scary.
Vrabel as the coach.
Yep.
I'm with CH on this one. He goes to Denver. I don't even know if they're favorites to win the East or the West. Excuse me.
Yeah, the division.
Yeah. They win the division. He goes to Tennessee. He's throwing to AJ Brown. He has that freaking stud behind him running the ball. He's got the good head coach. They got a decent defense. That's a
in a
shitty
outcome. Division.
Yeah, that's he goes to Tennessee. That's AFC 1 in my opinion. I would just be surprised. I think they did a lot. Green Bay realized, are we really going to let this guy go? You know what I mean? I think that I think he's back in Green Bay. I think that whole fissure, that whole fracture, I think they did a lot repairing that this year.
Yeah, let's hope so. I think the road is going to be so much harder in the AFC between Kansas City and Buffalo, the odds-on favorites, and then you have, Tennessee and Baltimore is going to have a better year. I mean, there's so many things going on. Oh, that's right. Oh, the Patriots. That's right. Yeah, I purposely was just seeing if you're paying attention. Listen to the show. I just wanted to see. Yes, the Patriots are right there too. It's the path is easier. Although they were the 1 seed in the NFC 2 years in a row, he got to the NFC Championship and lost. He got to the first game, the divisional playoff, and lost at home as the 1 seed. So I know either one of those moves would prompt a numbers change in the book, in the risk room, an immediate change. If Aaron Rodgers goes to the AFC, it's a trickle-down effect. It not only affects the team that he's on, it affects the odds of the other teams. If he stays in Green Bay, the odds pretty much stay the same. It's the Rams, it's the Packers, and it's pretty much everybody else right now until the Niners get their guy. And that's the last question I have. Newbie, I'll go to you first. I'll actually start this one. I think Brady's going to play again. It's been fun watching all this stuff. I actually watched the Tuck Rule, by the way. If you haven't watched the 30 for 30 with the Tuck Rule with him and Charles Woodson, it's excellent. It's an hour. It's them shooting pool at Brady's house with the moat around it in Tampa. They're talking shit back and forth. I agree 100% with Charles Woodson. It was a fumble. Brady let it slip twice during the show. It was a fumble, but they got Walt Harris to come back and say it's the Tuck Rule. They got all these video. It was fantastic. It was great. So Brady's on my mind. So we don't even ring the bell anymore. Do we ring the bell because he's retired?
Well, yeah. What do we retire the bell? No, we can't retire the bell. It was
goddamn bell. It's just it's so the cash register's there. I think he's coming back, but if he comes back, I think there's only one place he comes back. It's San Francisco, right? He goes home. Jimmy G's gone. Would you believe it that Jimmy G had to leave for him to stay in New England, and then he goes to San Francisco, can't get it done, gets so close. Gets to the Super Bowl once and loses to the Chiefs, gets to the NFC Championship and has a game, they were so close to getting back. They don't do it. So they're going to give it to Trey Lance? Maybe. But a couple games into the season, Trey gets hurt. Hey, Tommy, dad's here. Bring the wife and kids. You got a house here already. Come to practice. Uniform looks nice. You looked good in red before. We got it all let's go. I think he comes back and it'll be to San Francisco. Newbie, 1, is he done? And 2, is there anywhere else other than San Francisco you can see this guy playing?
I mean, Brady is a smart dude. I think, and I kind of said it from the start when he went to Tampa Bay, the Brady and Arians conglomeration was never going to work. I am not a big Arians guy. I don't think he wins that Super Bowl if Brady isn't his quarterback. So I don't think he's done. I think that this was his ability to have the clean break and what is going to be more able to sell TB12 merch than having one final ride, having it be in a historic franchise. And he's also smart enough. He's not going back to the AFC because, like you said, the AFC is a dogfight.
No.
The NFC is wide open. Even if the Rams stay intact, even if Aaron Rodgers stays there. I actually have gotten now to the point that I would be surprised if Tom Brady at some point coming up this season did not suit up. I would make the yes on suiting up. You would have to lay a little bit of juice on it.
Wow.
I think that's where I've swung around to, because everything I've seen around that departure, the fact that it was leaked and he was like, hey, I'm not really ready to be I don't think that was more about him having to go out on his own terms. I think he was really trying to have a clean break in place, and that kind of accelerated everything. So I think Tom Brady's going to be suiting up at some point, and I know that's music to Carl Hascall's ears.
CH, is your boy done or not?
So you asked me the same question the night or the week that we did the show when he retired, and I said he was done. And now I don't see how he doesn't play in San Francisco. I really don't. They think Trey Lance is their guy, right? He's just not their guy yet.
Yep.
Right? I think he needs one more year, and who better to watch than, the best of all time.
Yeah.
So Tampa's got to let him out of his contract, first of all, right? I think he still has another year on his contract.
I don't know.
I think
if you retire, isn't that the shit that Brett Favre pulled? Was he retired because then your contract's null and void, or they still hold the rights or something?
So they put him on the reserve retired list.
Who's not going to buy that out though?
They'd have to trade him, or they'd have to do something, right? I actually looked the other day to see if he's actually filed his retirement papers yet. I couldn't find it anywhere. He's still listed on the Tampa roster. Now, maybe they don't maintain that in the offseason or whatever, but he is still listed as an active player on their roster. I didn't find a transaction for him that said he retired. So who knows?
It's all very interesting. And I know for a fact that would also move the needle, because I was in the book when they kept betting Tampa even before the Brady news was coming. And we kept taking the bets down, and we went down and we went down. And by the time it was announced that he was going to be in Tampa, we had already moved the line from 60-1 to 40-1 to 30-1 to 20-1. I was like, oh, Tom Brady's going to play quarterback there. Oh, shit. Really? Uh-oh. We better get some money on some other teams. So we raised some teams up and took some more bets. Thank goodness they started out bad, because we got a lot of bets on some other teams and kind of evened that number out and did okay by the time the Super Bowl came. But if Tom Brady goes anywhere, it's definitely going to move the number, especially as far as the NFC. What do you got, CH?
And I have to say, it wasn't a fumble. It's a rule. He was tucking the ball away. It's called a tuck rule because it's a rule. And for the record, the Patriots got fucked by that same call earlier that season. Mark Sanchez, I think it was Mark Sanchez was the quarterback for the Jets. Same exact thing happened in a game against the Patriots. They said he was tucking the ball away. The Patriots lost the fumble recovery. They probably won the game, but they did get screwed by the same exact rule. So he was tucking the ball away. It's not a fumble.
It's not even.
Get over it, Oakland or Los Angeles or wherever the fuck they were playing then.
The Raiders, hard to say. They were selling Raiders shit in LA for the Super Bowl. There's not even a team there, but they were selling the Raiders stuff. It's still a Raider town. Number one, first and foremost, Los Angeles is still a Raider town. First of the two teams that are there, but it's still Raiders in spirit. All right. Quickly, and we can debate this, let the other shows do this, but March Madness is coming up. We're going to have, ideally, we're going to, brainstorm and come up with maybe a March Madness pool where it'll be a low fun entry fee. So we're not going to bury you for $100 or something, but we'll do it. Listeners of the show can compete against each other. We'll give away maybe a ticket or something on a sport or, whatever. We'll figure that out. We gave away a World Series ticket. We did another contest where you guys, left a review and sent it in, and that helped us, jump up the rankings. So maybe we'll do that for March Madness. We'll figure that out very quickly here. But the big news in the sports media right now is the handshake line afterward. Wisconsin calls a timeout with 15 seconds left in a game, that they're up 15 and, to do this. And he said he's pressing and he's not. They try to walk by each other. Juwan's going to keep his mask up, talk shit under his mask and say, I'll remember that shit. Nobody knows shit. Nobody knows exactly what happened and how everybody was feeling. But are we done doing handshakes and lines? Like, seriously, is it like, I'm okay with doing the handshakes. Be grown-ups about it. Just remember what good game. See you later. Like, but this is the debate on all these shows. Newbie, you go to high school basketball games, you do games. They still shake hands after the game, right? Like, the grown-ups got to be grown-ups in this thing.
Yeah, and honestly, Juwan Howard's the one who's kind of getting made out to be the dick in this situation. But like Dave said, he was walking past and the other dude's the one who kind of grabs him and says, hey, no, we're talking here.
Yeah.
And then the scene devolves into everything. Like, tensions are high. I get it. Rivalry games, I get it. But like, dude, exactly what Dave said. Like, you guys are the head coaches. You know what I mean? If two players swing on each other, okay, that's kids being kids. You're the faces of your programs. I think, head coach of Wisconsin just as much to blame as Juwan Howard in this situation. I think you both, what did the rest do to defuse the situation? You do the offsetting penalties, no harm, no foul. You're both suspended. You're both this. Just a bad look. But at the end of the day, yes, you still do the handshakes. Yes, you still have sportsmanship, and you don't fucking fist fight in the lines afterwards. Guess what? You punching each other, you grabbing each other. The result ain't changing. Whoever won their bets is getting paid out on the bets. So the swinging, it's just a bad look, and I also think it ends up getting a little bit more overblown than it is. Yes, it's bad, but at the end of the day, that's what happens. If you're going to have people competing against each other, tensions are going to be high from now and then. Hopefully it doesn't devolve to this, but when it does, it's not the black mark on, oh my goodness, look at what pieces of shit these two guys are. It was two dudes being heated. Should it have happened? No. Did it happen? Yes. Is it that big of a deal? In my opinion, not really.
Yeah, they're talking about suspending Howard like the rest of the year or the rest of the season, regular season, all this stuff. And it's like, okay. I joked. I wanted to joke about it. I was afraid to actually joke about it, but the total in the game was 138.5 or 139. And that last basket put it over 140. And I was like, oh, maybe Juwan had the under and he was a little ticked off that they were pressing and he was trying to press to keep the game under. And I was like, I don't even know if you could do a gambling joke about that stuff right now because people are so sensitive about the whole thing. Yeah. So you got to be careful, but it's like, I mean, we're grown-ups. Like, we've seen all this stuff. The NHL guys kill each other for 7 games. And then they shake hands and say, good game, man. See you later. Good luck. Go win the cup. Like, I do it now with the kids. The assistant coaches started chirping and started talking and more and more and more. And that's usually the result of bad things. I've had to tell parents of my own kids on the team, you got to go to the parking lot. What do you mean? This and that? You won't shut up. You're going to incite a riot and you're being an idiot. You're embarrassing yourself and your kid. Go for a walk. Go sit in the parking lot. Get out of here. At what point do we say, like, all right, maybe, well, is there something we can do to fix the situation? CH.
Yeah, you can not be calling timeouts when you're winning by 14 points with 13 seconds left in the game. That's the first thing. The guy should have been punched in the. Well, maybe you shouldn't have been punched. but I mean, I can definitely see why he was pissed off. I mean, come on, right? But yeah, you got to be adults. I mean, even the kids on the team are the oldest one's probably 23, 22. And they're keeping their heads. But one of the Michigan guys, was it the Michigan guy?
Yeah.
I don't remember. One of the guys was throwing some serious haymakers. Oh, yeah. He was throwing some heat. Yeah. So they got to make sure that doesn't happen.
Right. Yeah. So, all right, going forward, we'll see what they do. I think somebody's probably going to have an overreaction to that whole thing. I just wanted to mention it because it's a news topic of the day. Doesn't affect the gambling, although it may affect Michigan's getting in or not. If they're a bubble team, they may go, listen, they fired the coach, or they got an interim coach. They got a lot of things going on, and you may have to go, okay, keep them out. I don't know, but I don't think they will. We'll see. All right. NHL 2-minute drill or pulling the goalie 2-minute segment with the NHL is pretty simple. Colorado is just going far and away above everybody in the Western Conference. They're losing today to Boston. They're getting
Boston.
Yeah, they were getting smoked by the Bruins. Jack Eichel's back, playing his third game yesterday, I believe. He got his first goal with the team. The Knights' odds are coming down. Watch the Knights kind of get hot once they find him 2 regular line mates, and he gets a lot of time on the power play. That's going to improve them. They've been giving up a ton of goals in the first period, or their first periods have been going over goal in the first 10. They're one of the top teams. At PSU Auto on the Twitter has been amazing with providing the first period information. So you can find him there. He's a PA guy, obviously a Penn State guy who I just found through Brad Howe, the other show right here on the Cash Considerations Network, 8 in the Box. Him and I are going to continue to do that show. We're kind of focused on college basketball a little bit more on that show than we are here. So you can find that over there. NBA. We got to talk about the NBA. All-Star game. First question is this. Are we done with All-Star games? As far as betting opportunities or just as a fan watching, I loved the All-Star games when I was a kid. Absolutely amazing, but it was East-West. It was, Wales Conference, Campbell Conference in hockey. There's so many memories of games, but they were playing the game that they play in the regular season in the All-Star game. They were competing. They were trying to win. It meant something. Obviously, these games are not like that anymore. This last Pro Bowl, if you watch that, there's no need to have a Pro Bowl anymore if they're going to play it like that. You can't play football at half speed. Tackling is a major part of the game. If you don't tackle and you're not running full speed or trying to play defense, you're not playing football. Hence, I don't need the Pro Bowl. The basketball NBA All-Star game has always been a showcase, has always been a lot of fun, and I believe a great kind of spectacle to watch. I always enjoyed watching it in a cold of February, watching the NBA dunk contest and All-Star game. The dunk contest was a travesty, an absolute, newbie, you're shaking your head. Did you try to watch it? It was terrible.
I watched it for about 0.5 seconds. And if it takes you 45 attempts to throw your dunk down, it's not impressive at that point. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying it's CH and I, before we hopped on the show, we were saying, wouldn't it be amazing if you could dunk? But I can't even dunk, and I am unimpressed with what we saw in the dunk contest. I think that needs to go its way. I also, and I'm sure that we'll get into this here in just a second, I'm probably in the minority that I loved the All-Star game yesterday. I already know heading into it, there's going to be no defense. That doesn't bother me at all. What's incredible is get rid of the dunk contest and just whoever has the best dunk in the All-Star game is your dunk contest winner. Because the windmill by Joel, the 360 alley-oops that were going on, there were some incredible dunks in the All-Star game itself because there's no defense, because somebody can say, hey, give me a run at the rim, and everyone will just clear the lane and allow them to do that. So I think that's a way to get rid of the dunk contest, because it's been a steaming pile of shit since the Aaron Gordon debacle when he didn't end up winning it, though he definitely should have won it. I think that was like in 08, something like that. So it hasn't been good since then. I look forward to the NBA All-Star game. And at the end of the game, that last couple minutes was awesome. Seeing Steph Curry shoot the lights out, 50 points. I don't care if they're not playing defense or not. That was awesome. Like, with the NBA All-Star game, you get to see the All-Stars be themselves. There's not going to be any defense, but you get to see LeBron for 4 quarters. He's not going to be sitting out. You get to see Steph. You get to see all these stars just hooping and having fun. I look forward to it every year. I thought it was a great game. I was glued to my TV the entire time, to be honest with you, Dave.
I was too. I really enjoy it. I prefer to just watch like the halftime. I thought was pretty cool, and then the second half.
Yeah.
I was watching softball with, Jess and the girls and stuff. So we were kind of dialed into that. I went and rewatched the beginning. I like the quarters because when you win the quarters, you tighten it up and you make it shorter. So they're competing. Anything where I can see the guys competing is good. CH, do you remember, because Larry Bird used to own the 3-point shootout? I think the 3-point shootout is the epitome of the weekend. I think it's the pinnacle of the weekend. It's so much fun. And like Carl Anthony Towns was 12-1, the longest shot on the board to win the 3-point shootout. And he did. The Rising Star stuff on Friday night was awesome. 2 games to 50 with 7 guys each on the team. So it was fast. It was a, play to a number and then, win the thing to 25 for the championship. That was a hell of a lot of fun. As an old fuddy-duddy like myself, can you welcome what the NBA is doing by tweaking it and changing it? And was there anybody better than Bird in those 3-point shootouts?
Can't believe you just said fuddy-duddy.
Well, just in case anybody's listening to the show.
I thought I was a fan of the fuddy duddy.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say old fuck when you started, and then you said fuddy duddy. I was a little confused. So the All-Star game, you guys enjoyed it. A basketball game that's not the old Denver Nuggets. That's a 163-160 final score. Sorry, play a little bit of defense. It's not a real basketball game. It's a showcase. And that's fine. If that's what you enjoy, that's fine. But there was nobody better than Larry in the 3-point contest. I mean, the first year they had it, he didn't take his coat off, his warm-up jacket. He won with his warm-up jacket on. He walked into the locker room before it and said, "All right, which one of you fuckers is coming in second?" I mean, just loved Larry Bird in that contest. But the rest of it, I'm all set. The NHL All-Star game, pass. The skills competition, shooting things out in front of the Bellagio, wherever they were, dumb. The Pro Bowl. Why do they do this? It's terrible. Have an all-pro team, name players to a team, even the skills competition. Horrible. Do away with that. The only All-Star game that's any good is the baseball one, because it's baseball. Pitchers are trying to get batters out. Batters are trying to hit home runs. It's a baseball game.
And I couldn't agree more. I think the baseball one is still the one that's still truest to the game itself. And I look forward to the introductions as much as the actual game. And the home run derby is a lot of fun. They've tweaked it now where it's pretty good. As far as like a betting opportunity, listen, the odds makers got it right again with the basketball game total. It was 6, was Team LeBron won again. They were favored by 6. They didn't cover. The total comes out at 318, 319, closes 324. The game falls 323. So it's one where the odds makers got it right. Now, I mean, people ask, how do they do that? The number's going to be 150, 150. They're going to add 24. Like you think, what's the score of this game going to be? What has it been? It's been 318 to 320 for the past 5 years because of the way they do this ending. And I remember the first year, we didn't even know what the ending was. We were like, wait a second, they're going to add 24 points to the end of the winning team at the third quarter. They were call it the Kobe, the Elam ending. I don't know what the hell to even call it, but I know you add 24 to the team that's leading, and it's a fun, different format, but it's not basketball per se. Speaking of, I mean, newbie, there's one guy that I'm thinking of for MVP, and we saw him a little bit. We had to. It's been a while since the last regular season game, but there's a team that I'm thinking of. Can you help me get there?
Yeah, I'm trying to think too, because I mean it's been a layover. I think it's starting to come back to me. I hate what you're talking about.
Bring it up.
Talking about.
Yep.
76ers.
Oh yeah, way better.
36 foot. Hey, I'll tell you what, the final score for Team Durant looked auspiciously like a 76ers game. Joel Embiid in the 30s and everybody else just, contributing, right? All I know is, boys, I know what I'm doing Friday night. and that's going to be glued to my TV for the Sixers playing the Timberwolves. I know. Who fucking cares? I care because we got the Beard making his debut. Sixers are back. You guys know last show that we did, it took me a full 18 hours to completely turn myself around on the Harden trade. I was all in then. I'm all in now. When I went down to the Sixers game to see him get absolutely pumped by CH's Celtics outside of the arena, got a $5 shirt. The Beard is here. Oh, I've been rocking it. They already got pit stains all over it because I haven't taken that thing off, baby. I'm excited to see this new look Sixers. I don't know how much it really changes the needle, how much it moves it much, but dude, all I know is Embiid did another good job this weekend campaigning to be the MVP, and I'm hoping that he gets that home. This is a ticket that I will not cash out. I had Bryce Harper to be the MVP. I cashed it out halfway through the season when they were in the doldrums. I'm not cashing out my Joel Embiid one. Please get it home. Please get it home for me, Embiid.
We got some people listen to the show that may or may not have tickets on Joel Embiid to win the MVP at 40-1.
Wow.
Some people sent me some DMs. Thank you for mentioning that back in the day. And they bought it. So, and we got, diehard Sixers fans like Norm. Little Nate is wearing the sleeve all the time. He's all in. But the game before they beat the Bucks to start the
we got to talk about that one.
Yeah,
They
beat the Bucks on the road. They were at home the game before that on a Tuesday.
I don't remember that.
It was
Weren't you there?
Valentine's Day last week.
That's exactly. I don't remember it. I was in the fetal position in the aisle by the third quarter, so I definitely don't remember that one. They
For the
shot
listeners
fucking
that
lights out.
don't know, Newbie got surprised by his wonderful girlfriend that they're going to go see the Sixers in person, get the good seats. We're going to go down, and they're playing CH's Celtics. CH's Celtics were a 2-point favorite. As good as the All-Star game line was with the total, the Celtics were a 2-point favorite and won the game by 48. 48 on the road. Not really a good line, -2. At one point, 50.5 was the in-game number. That was the only number that covered for the Sixers. All them other ones you can put right in the CLV can. If you're going to use the CLV can for your social media, at least tag me so I can make a comment, people, please. But listen, CLV don't matter when you lose by 48. CH, for you, before we move on to Carl's Corner and take a minute and get out of here, the Boston Celtics had won 9 in a row, eclipsing with that game in Philadelphia, where they told everybody, we're here. We ain't going away. We only got one more game. We all only got to do is go home, and we're playing the Detroit Pistons. Detroit basketball stinks. They're 12.5-point favorites. The Celtics, instead of going into the break on a 10-game winning streak, lost at home to the Pistons. I know you watched it. You had to peek at it. What do you make of this damn Celtics team?
So a couple weeks ago, we were talking about how I might be thinking about joining the bandwagon and looking at the Sixers and at least going there for the rest of the year. The Celtics didn't lose after that until they played that until they played that game against the Pistons. So I feel it's like my duty to say that I'm still thinking about going on the Philadelphia 76ers bandwagon. And let's see if the Celtics can come out of the break winning another 9 in a row. For the record, if they had won that game against Detroit, they'd only be a game behind the Sixers. They're only 2 games behind right now. I don't know what's going on in Boston, but we'll take it.
The Eastern Conference is tremendous as far as competitive nature, numbers moving constantly. You're constantly seeing prices to win it all, prices to win the Eastern Conference be moving and affected, because the top 6 teams, we're going deep, 6 teams. It's not just the Bucks, the Sixers, the Heat, the Bulls, the Cavs. Oh yeah, wait, I forgot to mention that one team, that hashtag anybody but the Nets, because that shit is real. FanDuel posted an in-season new win total for them at 44. No team has ever won the NBA championship having a 7-game losing streak. Okay. The Nets had an 11-game losing streak. They're 6-1 to win it all. people, if you can find the no, go bet the no. They ain't winning the championship. CH has told everybody, hashtag anybody but the Nets. 4 weeks, only dating back to last year even. Harden's on the Sixers. That's going to make them one of the favorites. I can't wait to see what happens in the East. For the West, right now, it's Phoenix and Golden State and everybody else. Now, who that everybody else is? Memphis is awesome. Fun to watch. Ja Morant, literally live to win the MVP coming out of nowhere. Big numbers, big prices way back when. Memphis is going to make some noise in the playoffs. The Jazz are right there. The Nuggets are right there. I mean, hell, the Clippers are right there. Like, they could beat anybody by 20. They could lose by 20. You know who's not there? The Lakers. The Lakers are not going to win the championship. They're not going to win the West. They're not even going to win a round in the playoffs as constructed right now. AD is out. That's going to cause them to lose games. You saw LeBron talking about it at the All-Star game. He's one of the top 75 players of all time. He was shaking hands and bro hugging everybody because he said, I'm playing one more year when I play with Bronny, and it may be in Cleveland. Really? This guy's unbelievable, but he ain't winning another championship with the Lakers. I'm just going to leave it at that. Newbie, we got to go there. It's that place. We got to go. We haven't been. You know where to go. Do you have us ready?
It only took me like 5 minutes, but I feel like I'm really looking the part this week. It's time for Carl's Corner. And for finding out what we're doing in that corner, we bring in the man, the myth, the legend himself. It's your host, Carl Hascall.
Wow, I even got like a little point there. I feel like I'm in the big leagues here. I got a little point.
You got to get
fantastic.
Yes, you
Pull
got
out the stops, you know, when Carl's Corner's
That's
coming.
right. That's right. So, last week was the Super Bowl, right? And that's kind of a marquee event, right? Pretty big deal.
Yeah.
Dave got to spend a week there almost.
Yeah.
You left. When did you leave? Friday?
Saturday before the game. I left Saturday night. Yep.
Yeah, I saw you driving around too, trying to find the stadium. You found the Rose Bowl, and you found what? Did you go to Chavez Ravine
Dodger
too? Didn't you see Dodger Stadium? Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yep.
But it got me thinking. I'm kicking myself now that I didn't find a way to go to one of Brady's Super Bowls. But it got me thinking: what event or what game or what would you like to go to? What's your bucket list game or games or event or events that you'd like to go to in your lifetime that you haven't got to? So Dave, I'll go with you first, since you were the one that got to spend some time at the Super Bowl, obviously not at the game, but you got to spend a little bit of time there. What was your take on being there for the whole week, and where would you like to go?
So being at Media Week was life-changing for me because I had been in sports books for basically almost 25 years. I've spent Super Bowl Sunday in the weeks leading up to it in a book, booking the bets, booking the prop bets, taking bets. I wrote tickets at the counter for years. So I got to see people coming in for it. It always looked like so much fun. And I was trying to rush home to get to a second half Super Bowl party and things. So me now being in Media Week was fantastic. And being in the host city was interesting. Although being in the host city in Los Angeles, it's just another day in a gigantic big city like that. Like nobody except outside of, the people in Media Row cared, but outside there were signs and there were some people walking around, but everybody was like, it's just another day here in LA. They're just having a football game at the stadium. It happens to be the Super Bowl. I've never been to a Super Bowl, to an actual game. Now I was offered tickets this past one here. Do you want to stay and go to the game? I really didn't, because I want to go with the boys, or, I want to go with the family, or I wasn't going to the game just to go to the game. It didn't have that appeal to me. But I've been to so many sporting events in my life. I've been to a Rose Bowl. Penn State played Rose Bowl. I've been there a couple times. Fantastic. I mean, if you ever get a chance to go, you need to go. It's amazing. Been to multiple bowl games. So I've been to the Holiday Bowl, been to the Fiesta Bowl. I've never been to one in Florida, but I will go at some point. Those are great. My first World Series was in 1979 at Game 3. I was 8 years old at the Pirates and Orioles, and remember nothing except the left field foul pole. We sat on the third level, and I was right behind it and had to go like this and like this because my brothers complained that if they sat there, they couldn't see. So I had to sit and watch pitch by pitch and move like this. And when a ball was hit the right field, I'd lean this way. And when it was hit the left field and center, I was this way. But I froze my ass off, and I was like, man, I was just another game at the time because I didn't know any better. I played baseball with some of the guys, kids on the team. Manny Sanguine's kids were on my T-League team and all this other stuff. So it was just like, oh, let's just go watch their dad play. And I didn't realize it was the World Series. Then I got to go to the 2001 World Series and thought, this is amazing. Game 7, Diamondbacks, Yankees. I had been a partial season ticket holder with the Diamondbacks. I went by myself. It was one of the few games I went by myself because I had to be there. I was hoping to see history, and I kind of did. Game 7, anything, I'm in. NHL Stanley Cup playoffs I've been to multiple times. It's, the Penguins run up, been to games there, on the road in Vegas. We've driven to LA. I took my dad and my daughters and Jess and I drove in a car, went to see the Kings play the Sharks, and drove back the same night. It's 3.5 hours each way. I just wanted to be in a playoff atmosphere. So the standards are high. And I thought about this question. I was like, what could it be? And for me, going to sports is about being with family or friends. It's about sharing. The game is almost secondary. It's the whole event. And we talk about that stuff all the time. So the first thing is for the family is I want to go to Oklahoma City and see the Women's College World Series. I want to go. If I could get a VIP for that, and I could bring the girls and Jess, and we could go watch all the games and have seats for every game and seats where we want to sit and just get that whole VIP experience and watch them. Because when I go to games, I think about going to games like with my dad or with my brothers and stuff, and like literally walking out and seeing the field for the first time, or walking out from, the ushers and then walking in and seeing the ice or smelling the rink and what it brings to life. This would bring it to life for the kids if I could go to OKC and go see the Women's College World Series. And then we had Cody on last summer. He did his dream and he went to the Men's College Baseball World Series in Omaha. That would be a pretty cool thing too, to see the work and the excitement to get up to that. At this point, those are what do it for me. I don't know what else off the top of my head. I'm interested to hear what you guys have to say about it. But I mean, those that would be the top of the list for me to share. And if you guys want to go to, if we can get another World Series deal going, I wouldn't mind going to the World Series again, maybe in Fenway Park or something like that. That'd be fun.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that either. Although I would hope to see the Red Sox in the World Series, except go to the away game because it's fucking cold here at the end of October. I went to, I think it was game 2 of the 1990 playoffs against Oakland, and I was in the next to last row underneath the scoreboard in center field. It's up there high. That's like a wind tunnel. The wind's blowing out. It comes up and it blows right up. And it was the coldest I've ever been in my life. Anyway, and I should mention too, I did put in when we talked about this yesterday, I did say VIP experience. So when you brought that up just now for college, I should have probably mentioned that at the top. So Newbie, where do you want to go, and why isn't it Fenway Park at the end of October?
Hey, if I'm going with the boys, I would go anywhere if they're rolling out the red carpet. Let's be real.
That's true.
Right. It's funny when Dave was just kind of mentioning, the different things that he went to. It sparked my memory. I actually won, and I don't think I told you guys this before, I won a sweepstakes that was held by Lincoln Financial to stay at the same hotel as the Eagles during training camp. So I got like this whole entire prize package. They paid for the hotel. So I was literally in the room. I ate dinner with John Dorenbos because he was eating at the bar in the hotel. I walked by and he was like, hey, nice Eagles shirt. I was like, hey, you're the fucking dude who's on America's Got Talent and is the long snapper. So awesome experience there. It just made me think, rolling out the red carpet. And speaking of red carpet, for me, because Dave hit on it, like when it's sports, you want to do it like with your family or your friends and just have it be, because it really is the entire experience of it. That's why I'm an Eagles season ticket holder, getting to go down with my family, getting to take my buddies to the games. That's what it's all about. If it was just me solo. What I would love to do, and not even like for the schmaltzy award bullshit, I would love to be a part of like one of the after parties after like the Screen Actors Guild Awards or one of like the music awards, whatever they are, and just get to be like partying, because when I look at celebrities, like they're just people to me. You know what I mean? Like I don't get that. Oh, did you see who that is right there? Like that everybody's a person to me. So I would just love to party with some of these people, have a good time. So for me, if I could get the VIP treatment, it would be like behind the scenes at like the Oscars or the Grammys, and then get to go to that after party, or have VIP treatment like you're backstage hanging out at like a music festival. You know what I mean? With some of your favorite bands or something like that. And you just get to hang out with some of these people who, sure, they're like idols to some, but when you get talking to them person to person, they're going to just end up being people. I think that would be a pretty cool experience. And I figured you guys would be going the sports route. So I figured throw that in there. Probably no surprise to you guys that I'm going with a film or music inspired VIP treatment. It's not just all sports for me, boys.
Mm-hmm.
Just like you pick props when we do sides and totals, you got to do movies when we do.
Go off the reservation. It's what I do, baby.
He's just like Jim Craig in the movie Miracle. I'm not taking a test, Herb. I totally agree with him. I love it. I'm not taking it. I'm that guy too. I say we're spirit animals,
test, Herb.
different generations. I'm the guy that says I'm not taking a test, Herb. So I love that. I didn't even think of that. The other one I wanted to throw back to you before you take it back, CH, is the Masters. I want to see the Masters in person. And I know that probably if you haven't been, did I just take yours? I just did, didn't I? Yeah. Sorry. No, you did it to me all season. We did all the picks. There you go. The Masters.
That's pretty funny. That's pretty funny. So yeah, I do have a couple. So I went to that cold playoff game I told you about. I also went to I think it was game 2 of the '86 playoffs against the Angels, the Sox and Angels.
Ooh.
Probably unremarkable, but Dave, you might remember that's the game where in the first inning, the second baseman for the Angels lost the ground ball in the sun. It was a chopper. It went up in the sun. He lost it and it went right by him.
Geez.
Yeah, Dick Schofield, I think, was the second baseman.
That was the Donnie Moore.
Yes, that was game 5
in Anaheim. Yeah.
And
Dave Henderson was the center fielder of that team and all that stuff. Oh, yeah. That's the team that lost to the Mets.
It is. Oh. So I did go to the playoff game then. I'm trying to think. I went to one year I went to 12 Bruins games, one regular season, and I went 12-0. And then I went to 6 playoff games and I went 0-6.
Oh.
It took my kids to game 3 of the Stanley Cup Finals, I think, of 2013, when they lost to the Blackhawks. Went to game 4. I bought tickets for game 4, hoping that they were going to sweep, and that would be the clincher, but that didn't happen. But places I want to go to, first of all, I just complained about going to Fenway in October. Well, I want to go to Fenway in January next year because they're having the Winter Classic again at Fenway, and I think I have to go this time. I sent my kids to the game at Gillette Stadium a couple years ago, and the Bruins, they play the Penguins in that game. I don't remember.
I think so. Yeah,
I think they did. But I sent my kids for Christmas because it was a week after Christmas. I sent my kids to that game. Tickets were a little pricey, so I could only get 2. I didn't get 3. Right. But my other things are, after last week, I want to go and hang out on the 16th green at the Waste Management Open in Phoenix. That's awesome. That looks unbelievable. I'm not a big party guy, but I would hang out there. It seems like it's a day-long tailgate watching golf. I mean, and it's beautiful weather, and so that's on the bucket list for me now. My non-sports one, since we're going down that road, about probably 12 or 14 years or so ago, a friend of mine, knew the people who did the Today Show concerts. They used to do a Friday afternoon or Friday morning concert, and I was supposed to go when they did Jimmy Buffett in Key West. They were doing a Today Show from Key West. I was supposed to go to that. I was going to be backstage. I was going to be behind the rails, the whole 9 yards. And then the swine flu or the bird flu, one of those goddamn flus,
fucking flus,
epidemic came out. remember when we used to have epidemics and not pandemics, the good old days? But when that happened, it canceled the concert, canceled the trip. Wound up going to Key West anyway, but canceled the concert. So I missed out on probably my only chance to meet Jimmy Buffett, which would have been great. But my one bucket list sport event that I wanted to go to is Augusta. I want to go. I want to spend the whole week there. I want to somehow figure out a way to play. That's my dream course to play as well. I want to play 18 there. I'll be there for a long time because I suck. So I'll really get to see the entire course. But Augusta is definitely the place I want to go and check out.
Damn. All right. Yeah. The 16th hole is awesome. I'm old enough to remember I lived on the across the street at TPC Scottsdale. I lived on the desert course for 2.5 years, but I lived in Scottsdale for 5. We went every year. And I went before there was anything around the 16th hole. I'm old enough to remember when Tiger got the hole in one, when there was no stands around it. Now there's 20,000 people around a golf hole that you can walk and see the 15th green, see the 16th, the whole hole, and walk to the other end and see the 17th tee off, which is a par 4 that's reachable in one. It's a great little corner of golf. For you people who did not enjoy the hole in one and thought that golf fans were ridiculous for throwing cans and whooping it up and doing the shower, get your head out of your ass. That was a lot of fun. That was great. All right. So, is there closing music, Doobie? You gonna take it?
Oh, I got you.
Take it.
That's right, Dave. Carl's Corner coming to a close. One more order of business, and for that, we head on back to the consigliere himself. Dave, take it away.
All right, boys, this is great. Like, we, kind of get together. We don't talk for a couple days. We always text. We always keep each other abreast of what's going on, and then we get together and we throw it, a show rundown, and then we're like, oh, we'll keep it to 60 minutes. Just bet the over. What is it?
This is an over show, boys.
I mean, you knew that. You knew that already.
It's always an over show, but we got one more order of business. We call it Take a Minute. It's taken a lot of the listeners by storm. There's people, again, listening all over that literally will fast forward to the end just to get to the Take a Minute segment and then go back and listen to the rest of the show. Again, thank you for listening, period, at all. But this is our thing. We do Take a Minute at the end where each one of us gets a 1 minute, quote unquote, rant, talk, discussion, thought process, running, whatever. CH, we'll go back to you. What's up, CH? At What's Up, CH on the Twitter. By the way, nice picture. Very, very professional. I saw the picture on the Twitter feed. He's all buttoned up, looking clean shaven. Hair looks perfect. Not quite as good as the newbie kid, but we're just trying to live up to what he does. Your Take a Minute segment, sir, starts in 3, 2, 1.
Side note, my hair used to be as long as Newbie's back when I was a kid
Same
playing
with
Little League.
me. Hell
What?
yeah.
You never had hair.
Oh, I did. All right, I'm gonna have to show it for the people. I had long flowing. I had hockey hair, man. It shit that hung out the helmet.
Oh, that's right. That's true. Anyway, my Take a Minute. I've got a couple of thank yous. First of all, I want to thank all the presidents for being presidents and giving me a holiday today. I really enjoy having a long week. Well, I want to thank most of the presidents. Honestly, I don't want to thank all of them. I want to thank most of the presidents for being presidents. But I'm very thankful to have a long weekend and to get Monday off so we can spend a little bit of time together this afternoon. My other thank you is to the people at Chevrolet, probably to David Chase as well, because you might not know this. I don't live bet the football. I didn't live bet the Super Bowl, so I got to watch it a little bit delayed, which means I skipped 99% of the commercials. But I did see one commercial as it aired, and I only saw it because as I was skipping, I thought I could hear the Sopranos theme song playing. I'm like, what the hell? So I rewound it and watched back the Chevy commercial with Meadow and AJ Soprano. And it made me so happy because it kind of came out last year that Tony dies at the end. They kind of leaked that. David Chase leaked that out. But now we know that Meadow and AJ survive because Meadow and AJ go back to the scene of the crime. She parks her car automatically. It doesn't take her a half an hour to park her car. She gets out and there's her brother waiting for her. She gives him a big hug. And it's very heartening to know that, first of all, Tony died. Obviously, Carmella died too, because she would have been in the commercial. So good, because I didn't really like Carmella that much anyway. And the only other thing that died was AJ Soprano's acting career, also died that day. But it was great. That was my favorite commercial. The only one I saw, but it was great to get a little bit of closure on the Soprano family. And that's my minute.
Excellent work, sir. He's at What's Up CH now on the Twitter, social media. The show is at Cash Consid Show, and we're changing the way we're doing things. New year, new things happening, all kind of things happening. It's all going to be positive. That was some closure. That song is called "Woke Up This Morning" by Alabama 3.
Be my ringtone.
I got the boys to play that with Donnie and Kevin on the Sirius XM 159 show. Producer JP, he always takes suggestions from me for break music, and I shot him that, and he was like, okay. And then he heard it and he was like, oh, the boys are gonna love that. So I don't want to get any cease and desist orders, but we might have to put that in the board. Woke up this morning if we can going forward. All right, newbies got to get ready to go and go do a game. So you're taking minutes, sir, or you're taking a minute segment, sir, at Newbie Talks. Again, the executive producer of the show and co-host of the show, dressed up in a tie, getting ready to go call some basketball. You take a minute, starts 3, 2, 1.
So yesterday I went out to eat with one of my buddies, and so often when you hear stories and nightmare stories about working in the restaurant industry, it's customers that were horrible, right? I remember my time as a pizza maker, had plenty of those kind of stories. You often don't hear about just the servers who basically thumb their nose and say, why the hell are you here? Well, I'm here to get service. I was eating out with my buddy last night, and in the span of the hour that we were there was a waitress who caused 3 tables to leave before taking their order, because she would walk up to the table and she would say, how are you doing? And she would sigh, oh, it's been a long day. And just to preface you, before I start letting you know, we're out of burger buns, we're out of this. So she just like bombarded these people, and they would look at each other and be like, what the fuck? Like we're leaving. You know what I mean? We're out of here. So to this unnamed server, and the thing is, I wanted to give her the benefit of the doubt. I've been to this restaurant before, and she was our server. She pulled the same shit to me another Sunday. So it can't be that every Sunday is the worst day of your life. And it's been a day. Just maybe, put that by the side. Because at the end of the day, your table doesn't want to hear the whole spiel of how awful your day has been and how you just had 10 tables and now you have 6. So the day's getting better. Like, to quote the great Bill Belichick, I know that CH will love this. Do your job. Just do your job. Like, they don't need the spiel. They don't need the, this is awful. I get having to have the personal relationship. That's all good and well. But I have never seen 3 tables leave before the order, Dave. And it wasn't even because they were waiting there long. They're tapping their toes. Like, I've been there where it's, you don't get any service. You come out of the gates and tell them basically, hey, you're inconveniencing me. You're not going to enjoy your experience here today. What the fuck would you like to order? As the great Bill Belichick said, do your job. And that, Dave, is my take a minute.
Couldn't agree more. It's just, listen, I seen that going on a lot too here in Vegas, where it's like, listen, everybody got problems. Everybody got to change the way you can approach it, or just check it at the door. Either way, or call in. Don't come to work, which apparently a lot of people are doing because everybody's short-staffed, and then they're telling everybody how bad they're having it, and it's a vicious cycle. So that's a great way to look at it. Kind of do your job, and the rest will.
And that's, again, not to say, Dave, I know there are plenty of different horror stories from the other side. So to the food service workers who are having a tough time, thank you to the ones who put up with it and they still give you service with a smile. Everybody deserves a bad day, but if every Sunday's the worst day of your life, maybe work somewhere else.
Maybe work somewhere else. That's it. Exactly. Well said, sir. All right. My Take a Minute segment starts right now. Kind of going off of what you just said, Noobs, talking about having a bad day. Last week, Thursday, I mean, like, we're trying to figure out when we're going to do the show, and like, you know, we can't do it this day, that's day, and it's tough. And it's not that we don't want to do the show. It's just trying to get all the moving parts to get together. So I had Thursday kind of afternoon with some, you know, meetings and some, I went to a fantasy sports and gambling association meetings. I got to meet a bunch of people who were in from out of town, heard a bunch of bullshit pitches and a bunch of other crazy stuff. It was very interesting. I learned a lot, but then I came back to do the shows that I do normally do on Sports Grid and Sirius XM 159 every night from 4 to 7 Pacific, 7 to 10 Eastern. And I get a text that says, "Hey, I'm in the hospital. Just wanted to let you know." And I was like, "What are you talking about? What is this?" It's Peralt, who I do the Bostonian versus the book with every day, Monday through Friday, 10 to 11:30. And you're in a hospital, and I'm on the air, and I'm talking to Donnie and Kevin in my ear, who are phenomenal. And I love those guys. They've both been on the show. Matt's been on the show. And I'm like, "What's going on?" And he kind of tells me the story. And I'm like, "Geez, this is bad. I better finish my shift. I got another hour to do on TV talking about the games." And then I go right to the hospital. And I'm like, "What happened?" He tells me the story. And then Friday, I go back after, you know, we're supposed to do the show in the morning. And I'm like, "I'm not doing the show. I'm hanging out here with you." And he's like, "What do you mean you're hanging out here?" I'm like, "This is what we do. Like, this is, I have done this so many times at home in Pittsburgh growing up. It was like, you're on the hospital. We're going to sit at the hospital all day." I didn't know. So you talk about like how life happens. It comes at you fast. Things change. You always got to take the time. One, it's a great message from Newbie. Do your job, but your job is your job. Afterward, be a good person, be a good friend, be a good teammate, be a good whatever. Just be good to yourself. And then hopefully it will be reflected back. We talk about gambling all the time. You want to talk about people having a bad day. I've been at the counter for years, decades. Think about bartenders, same thing. Servers, same thing. We've all done jobs. CH has done jobs for a long time, you know, with people that are having bad days. People, you can have bad days. Everybody has them. But you change someone else's life by being the positive light in their day. They're going to have a bad day. They're having a bad day anyway. But if you kind of can change that mentality, and thank God for that stroke that I had, because it changed my whole way of thinking. And now I'm trying to push that back to people and say, like, "Listen, I understand. I sympathize with you, but you can look at it this way." And then boom, it kind of turns the things. I sat with my friend in the hospital for 2 days, not knowing what was going to happen, what was going on. He feels much better. We did a show today. We're going to go forward. We're going to find out what's wrong, if anything. Hopefully it was just some dehydration and some bad food or something that maybe caused all this problem. Maybe not. We'll find out. COVID fucked with everybody. It still is in a lot of different ways. Mask mandates are being lifted. We're headed in a positive direction. One thing to always remember, though, with all of this stuff, these lines, this, that, nobody knows shit. And you always got to remember that in all different aspects. Thank you for watching the show. It's Cash Considerations Podcast on YouTube. Thank you for listening to the show. It's at Cash Consid Show on Twitter, soon to be on other social media platforms all over the place. We're welcoming in some new shows. We got a lot of announcements coming up. In the meantime, subscribe, rate, review, leave a comment. Who knows what will happen? Thank you to the boys. He's at Newbie Talks on the Twitter. Dan Alexander off to do games. WEEU. Find him there. Also find him on Bet on Lacrosse Show. He's the host of that with Dougie, I believe. Right? Is that Doug Greenberg? Newbie?
Yeah. We got Dougie Fresh. We got Brian. We got guests just rotating through. Bet on Lacrosse. Appreciate that, Dave.
So we do that. We got that drop. We got Carl Hascall, who has spelled his name Hascall forever. He's going to continue spelling it as that. That was his Twitter handle, but he's at What's Up CH on the Twitter. Newbie's up over a dime in the followers. Congratulations. I saw that. CH has changed the picture. He's changed the name, but he's still the dude. He's got a lot of things going on. Follow him there as well. And myself, Dave Sharapan, at SportsBK Consig for Sportsbook Consigliere. I don't know how to say it, but either way, hit the follow button. Thank you again. We'll talk to you guys next week, whatever day we decide to do the show.